Hi Michael, it's Chris. I haven't put a video on here in quite some time. I think the last time I was doing it, it was just some finger exercise video. That shows about how much time I've been spending on Guitargate in the last little bit. I think I started on here in February. My wife had gotten sick last year and kind of took me out of doing things, and I wanted to get on, and either way, I was able to start up in I think January or February, and started working through things, and I came to the octave shapes lesson, and I watched it and I listened to it and I tried to do the shapes, and it just wasn't making any sense to me. And it's like the rest of the time I've been looking at the idea of the cage system, and I've heard about it for years, and I've tried to kind of figure it out by looking at the diagrams and trying to understand what it means and how they have it broken down in different colors, and everybody's got some different shtick with it, and it just never made sense. I've been wanting to open up the fretboard, learn where notes are, understand it, and it's just always been that far out of reach for me as far as comprehension. And I'll never understand why, but it's just been a huge issue for me. Yesterday, I had been looking into doing some more bluegrass music, and I've been practicing and playing a lot of that genre, and I came across a part in a lesson where it said, it was just talking about chord shapes, and I kind of went back to this idea of, okay, maybe this is going towards that chord shape, octave shape, the idea of the cage system, because I know somebody mentioned it in the midst of those videos as well. Turns out it wasn't going in that direction. It was just basic shapes that you might see during a bluegrass song or traditional bluegrass songs. But it prompted me to kind of come back to Guitargate and look over again and revisit that octave shape lesson. So I put it on, I watched it again, I looked at the diagrams again, and they didn't make any more sense than they did the last time I had seen it. And then I was sitting down in the corner on the floor, and I was messing around with it while everybody was having dinner. It just made sense. It just came to me. It just made sense, and I was able to put those pieces together. So I thought that was really cool. I was very excited about it. I'm still very excited about it. I haven't been doing too much with it. We have a very busy life here. I have 7 kids, and we have a lot going on over here, so I try to steal moments when I can. Usually it's after everybody goes to bed for a little bit before I go up. But I just wanted to throw this out there. This is just not necessarily me being fluent or proficient in finding all the notes, but just kind of out of excitement and just wanting to say thank you for having that video, for breaking it down the way you did. And I don't know what about it that made sense, but it just ended up making sense to me. So kind of looking at things and starting with C and finding all the C notes for the C shape, right? And then the A shapes, and going forward. And that was the thing that was really driving me nuts, was that barred note versus that open note, and then spreading to cover that gap on there. And I understood that a little bit better. Like even with the B, we're here with B and the A shape, right? And that was killing me trying to find which shape would go with that. But G comes after A, right? So then so I was able to do that, and then E. Told you it wasn't about proficiency. And then D. Those shapes kind of moving in conjunction with each other. And it just made sense. It just made sense. I mean, for F, right, which is the E shape, correct? If I'm wrong, right? E shape, and then we're going to a D shape for F's, right? Going to a C shape, and then going to an A shape. It just started to make perfect sense to me that this was how this progression went, and I just think it's the coolest thing, because it's something I've struggled with for a really long time trying to get this down, trying to understand this, and I've worked at it. I've sat there and I've stared at those diagrams, and I've tried to put my fingers in different places, and I'm sure there's more that, you know, stems off of this, but for me personally, this is a really big step for me coming into the fretboard and understanding now I can look here and I can find this, and I can go, okay, now I have different places to start chords and start scales, and I'm really excited about it. But like I said, I'm not proficient with it, and it's part of something that I'm trying to work into, like a practice routine with me. It's just kind of following those things over and doing that just to get those notes and get an idea and start putting those things in my mind and in my muscle memory for where it goes, and then working up from there. But either way, it's very cool, and I'm very happy, and I'm not exactly sure what took so long and where things snapped, but just watching that video the other day, that concept just came and it made sense, and I'm super stoked about it. And I just wanted to say thanks for putting that out there, for having me on Guitargate, and really just giving it's a great program. I enjoy watching your responses to songs. I enjoy watching the lessons you do. I think you do a great job, man, and I appreciate it. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna run with it and see what comes of it, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more to show later on down the road. But I'm excited for this now. It's a big step, I think, for me personally, and I just want to share it. That's it. Thanks a lot, man.